This is the 10 a.m. news with Marina Kukar in the studio. Around 6 a.m., the Russians shelled the Dnipro district of Kherson with artillery. 3 people were injured. They are in the hospital. A 6-year-old girl who had been wounded the day before during the artillery shelling also died in the hospital. This was reported by the military administration. The child's father remains in the medical facility. He has a blast injury and shrapnel wounds to his pelvis. And the number of people injured in the massive drone attack on Odesa has risen to 7. At night, the Russians launched about 24 Shaheds at the city, targeting the energy infrastructure. A fire broke out at one of the energy facilities. An administrative building was damaged, and in one of the apartment blocks, the blast wave jammed the doors, leaving 2 people trapped in their apartments. They were rescued and handed over to the medics. Points of resilience and aid centers have been set up throughout the city. Thank you. Due to the attack, several districts of Odesa are without power, and some of the electric transport is also not operating. Overnight, Russia launched 138 strike UAVs of various types and 2 Iskander-M ballistic missiles at Ukraine. In the north, south, and east of the country, air defense forces shot down or suppressed 114 drones, according to the Air Force. There were missile strikes, and 24 drones hit 14 locations. At the height of several stories, they hover over the abyss to search for people trapped under the rubble. This is how the mine rescue unit of the State Emergency Service operates in Dnipro. They are called to the sites of Russian attacks. When structures collapse, rescuers dig through construction debris, holding out hope until the very end to find people alive. And on top of that, they also have to worry about their own safety because their unit has already come under repeated attack by the Russians. Details in Sofia, Moskalenko. They are among the first to arrive at the scene of the Russian attack. They work at heights, even when the building structures are destroyed and the floor could collapse at any moment. And all of this is to save lives.
When you arrive at the scene, you don't think about how hard it is or how scary it is. You don't think about any of that. All you think about is that you have to save people.
That's how it was on November 8th when a Russian Shahed hit a high-rise building in a residential district of Dnipro. The search and rescue operation lasted more than a day.
We ascended to the spacious 5th floor and diligently worked there. We carefully cleared the debris and rubble, and there were quiet moments of silence to listen. For any sounds, rustling, and so on.
Because of the collapse of the building after the explosion, residents fell downwards. At the moment of the attack, Natalia was on the 6th floor. Hearing the explosion, she ran into her daughter's room.
She immediately landed on the 2nd floor. She sat there, unable to get up because she felt dizzy and her arm was numb.
When rescuers find people under the rubble, they first have to check if the victim is conscious. Next, they need to immobilize
the person. Being trapped can happen in different ways, and it can break any limbs, which must not be moved at all. That means you have to fully immobilize the body and then slowly carry it down.
No matter how much time has passed since the attack, the rubble is cleared carefully, sometimes literally brick by brick, because until the very end, they hope to find people alive. But it doesn't always work out that way.
We recovered a woman, we found her, retrieved the body, brought it down, and handed it over to the proper authorities. Especially if it's children, then it's extremely difficult. You really have to process it. And
on top of that, they constantly have to check alerts because the Russians often launch repeat attacks. We
had something like that happen at one of our sites. Our unit's equipment was damaged. We have protection, we have bulletproof vests, we have helmets. We move the vehicles, we hide them. Depending on the situation, we try to preserve the personnel and complete the mission.
According to the rules, as soon as the air raid siren sounds, they have to leave the site of the attack. However, there have been exceptions.
Everyone stayed in place and continued the search operations. There were people alive under the rubble, and they needed to be rescued.
They are on duty around the clock. As soon as a call comes in, they have only a minute to assemble. Then, as quickly as possible, they head to the site of the attack.
There are a lot of drivers who don't let us through. Very often we couldn't get close at all. All the courtyards are packed with cars, so we often can't even park.
Before the start of the full-scale war, the mine rescue team serviced the subway. They still do this today. But most of the calls now are due to the consequences of Russian strikes. In less than a year, they have made more than 60 such trips. In total, they managed to rescue 35 people from under the rubble. From Dnipro, Sofia Moskalenko, Yevgeny Lopatnichenko, My Ukraine, Marathon, United News. Russian occupiers have become bogged down in urban battles for Pokrovsk. The information about the capture of the city is manipulative. This is what the 7th Rapid Response Corps of the Air Assault Forces states. The situation remains difficult. The enemy is actively assaulting the northern part of the city. In certain areas, fighting is taking place near logistical routes. The air assault forces added that our logistics remain complicated but are still functioning. According to the General Staff, over the past day, the Russians attempted to break through our defenses 45 times in the Pokrovsk direction. Intense fighting took place in the Kostiantynivka sector. There, the Russians attacked 29 times. In total, there were 170 combat engagements on the front over the past day. In Borodianka, Kyiv region, the first modular underground shelter has been installed. It is located in the most crowded area. Nearby are administrative, social and residential facilities. According to the project, the shelter has a main and an emergency exit and is equipped with heating, ventilation, water supply, sewage systems and a fire alarm. My colleague Anastasia Tereshchuk, she has already inspected the shelter and she is with us now. Anastasia, you're on the line. What does the structure look like and how can people get inside during an alert? And please tell us, is this shelter accessible for people with limited physical abilities?
Hello, Marina. Indeed, we've already looked everything over and are ready to tell you what we saw there. In fact, entry is free as soon as the air raid siren sounds in particular. In Borodianka, everyone can visit it. It fully complies with the principles of inclusivity. The facility is equipped with a ramp, a lift, and there is an appropriately equipped restroom. In fact, the shelter itself has 2 such modules, actually 3. One of them is technical, where there are also 2 restrooms. There, the inverter is also located, which can operate for about a day during a power outage and will supply power to everything. There is also fire safety, in fact. Next, there are 2 such residential modules, 2 small rooms that look like some kind of space facility because of their lighting. There are actually seats arranged for 48 people, although, of course, if there is an urgent need, more people can fit in there. Accordingly, there is an outlet next to every seat. They will work during power outages. There are also televisions, fire extinguishers, and an emergency exit that can be used if necessary. This shelter was assembled and installed in 2.5 weeks. How much does it cost? And I suggest we listen for more details.
This is the first shelter of its kind in Borodianka, and it costs 5.5 million hryvnias. By the way, I want to say, just for comparison, a stationary shelter of this type would cost more than 30 million hryvnias. We assembled it in just 2.5 weeks. The price is 6 times less than that of a comparable stationary shelter, and the implementation time of 2.5 weeks compares to half a year or even a year.
I should also add that for now, there is only 1 such shelter in Borodianka, but as we were told by the agency for reconstruction, they plan to install more, and possibly not only in Borodianka, but for now, this is still in progress, and there are no exact deadlines yet. Marina.
Thank you, Nastya. Anastasia Tereshchuk from Borodianka in the Kyiv region, where the first modular underground shelter has been installed. And on the first day of the 3,000 kilometers across Ukraine program, passengers bought over 4,000 tickets, which is 2.5 million kilometers. In December, the focus is on frontline communities. The most popular routes are from Zaporizhia and Kharkiv. In total, over 100,000 Ukrainians have already registered for the program. Let me remind you, tickets are available in open-plan carriages, compartments, regional trains, and in the second class of intercity trains. To purchase them, you need to update the Ukrzaliznytsia app, activate the program, and proceed to select your ticket.